Ghostbusters. Is your haunting an apparition, poltergeist, phantasm, wraith, banshee, demon, spectre, tortured soul? What? No, we do not summon dead family members then catch them so you can ask the combination to the safe. Yeah, well, same to you, pal.
Hello. This is Jared here, the Blind Gamer, and welcome to another video, guys. We are continuing the series I have started on this channel called Beyond the Game, which has had a bit of a mixed response. So we're going to try a couple more episodes and see how things go. But today's video is a bit more light-hearted. We're still sticking with a bit of the old horror, paranormal theme, but we're going to franchise the Ghostbusters. And are you looking forward to Afterlife 2 coming out in 2024? Let me know in the comment section below, because Afterlife was a mediocre film saved by a brilliant ending. But let's be honest, if you are a fan of the Ghostbusters, which I am, those of you who know me and have followed my work will know I've done some actual ghostbusting in the past, and you can check out that channel at the bottom of this channel. It's linked. It's called Paranormal Now, and it was a paranormal group that I was a part of and still work closely with to this day. But let's be honest, I didn't get the chance to use a proton pack. And my closest came when in 2009 they released the Ghostbusters video game, which was the quintessential ghostbusting experience. You literally got to explore the firehouse, popular locations from the movies. It had a story that was funny and brilliant, written by the late great Harold Ramis and, of course, Dan Aykroyd.
All right, Slimer, you've had your fun. The elevator's off limits. Egon, come in. I think we're stuck in the elevator. We need some help.
Think we're stuck. Well, let's see. Think we're stuck? Think we're stuck? Think we're stuck? Ray, you guys good with officially stuck in the elevators? Show of hands.
It was basically the third installment of the Ghostbusters franchise. And sadly, most Ghostbusters games were very, very bad. Or mediocre platformers that just didn't feel like a Ghostbusters game. But what if I told you there was a game released back in the 90s that actually got the ghostbusting experience right? And you may not have played this. It was called New Ghostbusters 2, and it was released for the NES by HAL Laboratories. I think it was around 1992 or 1993. This was only released in the PAL and the Japanese regions, and not released in the US or other parts of the world for some reason. This is episode 4 of Beyond the Game, and this is the retro Ghostbusters game that actually got things right. I've played through a couple Ghostbusters games now for adaptation, and just to sort of check, I did play the Ghostbusters game on the Mega Drive, and it was a fine shooter, but just not a Ghostbusters game. With a Ghostbusters game, I want to go around as Ghostbusters. I want to be able to trap and, blast and trap ghosts. I want ghosts to throw things at me and to dodge them. And I basically want, if it was a retro game, the 2D version of what I was given in 2009. And New Ghostbusters 2 actually provides this. It was the first game I played on this channel, and the reason I am doing this video is to kind of round off those videos, or kind of give those videos a little bit of purpose. But at the end of the day, I wanted to go deep into this game and why it is a really, really good Ghostbusters experience. So you get to select from 5 Ghostbusters: Peter, Egon, Ray, Winston. I have no idea why Winston is blue. I don't get it. Probably wouldn't have got away with it today. And obviously Lewis Tully, who kind of becomes a honorary Ghostbuster at the end of the Ghostbusters 2 film.
Boy, this equipment's heavy.
And this is one of those instances of game adaptations done right, because it doesn't try and give you everything. It just gives you what it's good at. And what this game is good at is basically putting you in positions where you have to go up against various ghosts and act and behave like a Ghostbuster. So you basically control one of the characters and an AI controls the other character. However, you control when they basically release the trap. So the front person controls the proton pack, the second person controls the trap. And the AI can sometimes go off on its own, and that can be a bit bothersome, but it doesn't happen a great deal. You start off in the courthouse, and you bust a few Slimers, a couple of ghosts that are recognisable, like the sort of cleaner type ladies from the museum, and you basically rescue a lady from her office that's been haunted by 2 ghosts, and you even make your way into a haunted toilet. So you go through the courthouse in level 1, and you eventually come across the Scaleri brothers, which basically goes exactly like it does in the Ghostbusters film. The second stage is then the railway tracks and the underground subway system. So it's kind of following the plot of the movie, but kind of expanding, making a game experience of what we saw in the movie. It doesn't stick to the movie 100%, but the essence of what the movie is trying to depict through its story is there, but through a very playable and very enjoyable video game format. You basically loop around a couple of stages, and there's obstacles. There's ghosts riding trams, there's ghosts with diggers, there's ghosts with goodness knows what, like sledgehammers, is it? I'm not sure. And you basically go through and you bust and trap the ghosts until you get to a train, and then you're fighting your way through the ghost train. Eventually you meet a boss, which is a Slimer, which is easy enough to kill. It's literally just A and B together, and as soon as you blast and trap him, you're on to level 3. Now level 3 is when it starts to get a bit more difficult. You're basically at the apartment building where Dana Barrett is staying with her baby. And you kind of got to work your way up to the top floor. And you have different enemies in this which are quite unpredictable. You have the weird pink slime, which kind of goes in weird directions, and that's easy enough to sort out. The one thing that used to creep me out as a kid was the ninjas. Wow, the ninjas can literally appear from anywhere, and they are quite freaky. Bearing in mind I was 10 years old at this point, but even like playing this back now after all this time, I still found myself, on edge whenever the ninjas came on screen. And the same with the flying, I don't know what they are, they're like flying goop, and they've got like needles coming out of them, and it's just, yeah, it does give you that bit of creepy feeling. The bosses on this stage are also quite interesting. You have these kind of gargoyle type statues swinging maces at you, and there's different combinations. I think you have like 3 or 4 different combinations, and these are really, really, really just creepy. They're hard. You need to kind of find out what their patterns are, but once you it's only like a 2-button thing to blast them, or you get them to freeze and then you basically trap them like you would a normal ghost. But wow, they can be a bit intimidating. After you finally make your way past level 3, you get a cutscene. It is the first cutscene in the game, but it's only the real needed cutscene of the game, because you kind of understand, what is going on. You're in the courthouse, then you're sort of on the underground, and then you're sort of like making your way home. It's just being Ghostbusters, and this is like the main sort of plot of the film kind of really comes into things. So you basically go after the baby. You need to make your way to the museum, and you do so through the River of Slime. And this is where you kind of go underground, and level 4 is basically busting ghosts throughout a giant river of slime. And again, the enemies are much different. You've got enemies that can move through the slime but can't move anywhere else, and they shoot projectiles. You have enemies that can kind of clone themselves, which is basically the big boss of that is. And you have enemies that can they're basically like Slimers but different colour, so like an Uber Slimer that can throw things at you. There's all sorts of different enemies here that just keep you sort of on your toes. Ultimately, if you pass that, you then have the final stage, which is the museum. The museum is basically a mishmash of all the things that we've come across so far in this game. And once again, it is basically a very, very simple formula of you kind of put into situations, you have your proton pack, you have your trap, there's no platforming, there's no jumping around like an idiot, there's no sort of like weird sheets that sort of like stop you or paralyze you. You are basically a Ghostbuster in this game, and it just works. It's so simple but so effective. Things like the ninjas, for example, make the return in the museum. The flying weird sort of goop needle things. It's all sorts until you meet the boss of this level, which is Janosch. And he can replicate himself several times, and this just takes forever, but you just literally got to persevere with it.
Well, that's Vigo. Mr. Vigo!
Viggs,
Please.
would you look this way, please?
No.
Come on, show me something.
And finally, you get to meet Vigo. And there's a boss battle with Vigo, and the game finishes. Now, it's basically, if you get through it okay, it's about 2 or 3 hour experience. Like most NES games, they weren't, built to last for hours upon end. Unless you're playing probably like Zelda or something, or like a Final Fantasy game. But the average sort of NES game is roughly about 2 to 3 hours max. And it does that very, very well. It's also got some, really good replayability with it, because it just gives you that experience. And it's definitely worth checking out if you've never played this before. Now, I didn't actually realise that a version of this came out on the Game Boy. It was released in North America, just called Ghostbusters 2, but actually entitled New Ghostbusters 2 in the Europe and Japan regions. However, I have been waiting to play this game for a very, very long time, because anything that replicated the experience of New Ghostbusters 2, I'm definitely up for. I'd love another Ghostbusters 3D game like the one we had in 2009, but the likelihood of that happening and being anything close to good, unless Afterlife, does some good merchandising or something, I don't know. But, the likelihood of that, anything like that coming out in the near future is probably slim to none. If I'm corrected, then great. But, ultimately, to have another experience like that, I thought was going to be fantastic. However, they got the Game Boy version so wrong. The AI that controls your secondary character is absolutely and utterly dull as a brush. And whereas in the NES version, that secondary character cannot be killed, in this game it can. And it will. It will put that character in the path of a ghost and deplete your lives for you. Not a problem. Anytime. The hit detection with the proton beam is terrible, and you literally sometimes have to move out of the way because the scope of the trap is terrible. It's just look at it. Look at this. Look at it's on screen. Just look at it. And if that's not bad enough, you literally need to know the places of all the ghosts that are there. Otherwise, you're gonna get yourself killed. Now, I gave this a second go. I thought, could I really, is it the fact I just need to learn to play it a bit more? It's still a very similar experience to New Ghostbusters 2 on the NES, but the controls and the way in which the secondary character operates completely ruins the experience and takes you out of the game. And to be perfectly honest with you, it's a very, very sad state of affairs indeed. The Game Boy deserved better. It could do better, and it deserved better. So what do you guys think? Have you ever played New Ghostbusters 2 on the NES? Do you have a favourite Ghostbusters game? One that you grew up with and always remember? Let me know in the comments section down below. I just want to say a quick word to say thank you guys for watching the videos. I have now started uploading long plays and marathons of some of the older videos I've done. The first series of Adaptation, which was the series I ran on this this channel earlier this year and will be coming back, which is games based on other media such as movies, TV shows, etc. and are they any good? The first 10 episodes of that are now up on a long play, and you can actually watch them all in one video if you wish to do so. Have a little binge, or there's 93 games reviewed there in total. Or if you're interested in a bit more horror, then check out 5 terrifying things about the original Resident Evil that will still scare you today. Lots more coming soon. We have another series starting very, very shortly, which I am very eager to introduce you guys to. And we have a few emulation videos that I want to go through as well. So thank you very much for watching, guys. And I'll see you soon in another video. You take care of yourselves. Peace.